So, yes, thank you everyone for joining and taking the time. So, we are looking forward to share how Persevere and SAP S4 HANA Cloud can help in improving client satisfaction and maximizing project profitability. To make this session interesting, we will also be conducting few polls. It will help our speakers to interact with you and also know you as our audience. So, introducing our speakers for today, Nidhi, please. Yeah. Mr. Saurabh Karmarkar, co-founder at Persevere, Mr. Gopal Chandra Vankar, Director, Customer Advisory at SAP, Mr. Pranay Mathur, Sales Director at Persevere, Ms. Nidhi Rajpurohit, SAP Consultant at Persevere. So here is the agenda for today. So we will be starting with the introduction, followed by the trends of professional services industry, the cloud ERP solution for professional services company, the system demo, how it looks on the system, and the discovery process, what we do in that, followed by the question and answers. We are happy to help you in all the situations. So I request Pranay to start with the presentation.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Devina, very much. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining in today. What a spectacular morning today. My name is Pranay Mathur, and I am the sales director with Persevere Consulting. Let me give you a brief background about Persevere Consulting. We are an IT and a digital transformation company established in UK, and with our presence in India, we also have operations spread across Europe, Africa, Dubai, and US markets. We are SAP multi-country gold partners, and typically how we help companies achieve their digital transformation is through our lines of business, starting with business transformation and process consulting, followed by the enterprise resource planning and cloud solutions, for which we are partners. We are multi-country gold partners with SAP. This then comes the intelligent automation vertical, and then the process mining. Yeah. So, so let me quickly introduce what are the professional services companies. So a simple definition. In fact, you all will understand that any services which specializes in providing expertise, knowledge, and experience to help clients achieve their goals come under the professional services bracket. So if you typically look at the professional services industry, it would be consulting firms, legal services, tax and audit firms, IT and software services, marketing and advertising agencies, engineering services, financial advisory firms, BPOs, KPOs, EPCs, PR firms, management consulting, and IT solutions. This is just to name a few to basically give you an overview of what professional services typically encompasses. Yeah. So before we begin, let's see what are the trends that we typically observe in the professional services as we speak. We realize that professional services sector has been growing at a rapid pace and is going to continue to grow, which typically would mean that there would be a need for a system which is agile, future ready, and scalable. Similarly, another trend that we observe is the remote work policies or work from anywhere, right? So this typically would mean it is very critical for companies to actually empower employees to work from anywhere. So continuing with the trends, so the other trend is that we see digital collaboration or hybrid work environment, and hence there is also need to have collaborative relationship not only with your employees and with your team members but also with your business partners, which in turn means that the organizations need to look at building a robust digital infrastructure which can help collaborate and working together digitally. The next trend that we see is that data driven decision making will significantly influence company growth, and hence there would be a need for a tool which will not only help the leaders of the organization but also employees with real time data insights, which is going to be very, very crucial for decision makings. With this, I would hand over the baton to Mr. Gopal, who is a Director Customer Advisory from SAP. And I sincerely hope that you will enjoy our rest of the session. But before we do that, let's start with our first poll. Over to you, Devina.
So, everyone, our first poll is live for today. We request everyone to please answer the poll.
Thank you everyone for taking time out from your busy schedules and making yourself available for this session. We will try to give you maximum information during the next hour or so that we have blocked for this particular session. And thank you, Team Persevere, for inviting me for this session. Uh, you guys have been doing a great job working with our customers and bringing value by leveraging the SAP solutions. I think you're doing a commendable job, and we expect that you will continue and develop further on these capabilities. So having said that, what I just want to do is basically give you certain background as to what our prospects are telling us, right? So our prospects are telling us what we hear from multiple prospects and customers, existing customers who we talk to day in day out. Okay, they are saying, okay, ERP is highly standardized. Okay, be it my procure to pay, order to cash, record to report, plan to produce. I think the processes are pretty much standard. Why don't SAP give us something which is easy to implement with pre-packaged processes? We don't want to re-engineer all the standard processes, right? Processes are highly standard when it comes to finance. Maybe there is a 85% commonality across businesses, 15% variations here and there. Give us an option where we can adopt the package processes and get going in less time, right? So they want to go live in 3 months. Gone are the days where people used to take implementations, like 12 months, 9 months, and so on and so forth. Today, the expectation is I should be able to get the value quickly. And if you just see one of my LinkedIn posts today, there is one customer who has gone live in 1 week flat. Right? So they adopted the best practices, loaded their master data, and 1 week flat they are up and running. Right? So that's the kind of expectation from the customers as to how can I get faster time to value. The other thing a lot of our existing customers are telling us is we have in the earlier days of ERP, we used to make changes to meet the business needs. But what has happened is over a period of time, there's so much of technical debt that has got accumulated. Because of that, today we are not able to upgrade our systems. We are not able to give benefits of the new feature functionalities or new technological innovations to our end users. So we are still stuck in the ERPs, which was deployed 20 years ago. We are still continuing that. So what they're saying essentially is, give us a mechanism where I can adopt the standard process and try to segregate my customization. I want to do certain customization, not too much. I don't want to create an ERP of my own. That's not my forte, right? My forte is running my business. I'm an EPC company. I want to, do projects. I don't want to build an ERP for that. So give us a mechanism where I can adopt the best practices. Then on top of it, I can create my own customization layer so that I can go live quickly, upgrade my systems in a timely manner, get benefit of the new features, right? So today everyone is talking about Gen AI. How can I bring that into my ERP system and deliver value to my customers? And lastly, they're saying, okay, we want a true SaaS ERP solution, maintenance free, seamless. We don't want to get into database upgrades, patch application. That is not our forte. Our forte is doing business, right? I'm a manufacturing company. I'll focus on manufacturing. I'm a professional services company. My core business is delivering customer projects. I don't want to get into IT and set up an army of people to manage my systems. And lastly, they are saying, okay, UI needs to be up easy, it should be deployed on mobile, it should be AI enabled, it should be machine learning enabled, etc., etc. So that's the expectation from the new workforce that is coming into the system, right? So to address all these requirements, we came up with our cloud ERP solution, which is known as Grow with SAP. And these are the four buckets how we differentiate from the the other players in the market, right? So there are many players, ERP players in the market, but these are the four buckets. Run with industry best practices, build your own breakthroughs, growth, and go live with confidence. So let me just quickly spend some time and give you an idea of what exactly are we talking about over here. So when we talk about industry best practices, what we have done here is we have taken our experience of working with multiple customers across the globe, right? So be it the large companies like the BASFs and the Volkswagens and the Tata Steels of the world, to the medium scale industry and to the small MSMEs across the globe using the SAP solutions in different geographies, be it India, US, Europe, and whatever geographies they are operating in. We have taken those best practices, curated that content, and now we are giving it to you on a platter. What it means is now you can just consume that content out of the box and then get going, right? You don't have to put energies and efforts to design those best practices in your system. Right, so just to give you an example, previously when we used to do an ERP implementation, I know 20 years ago when I was in consultant, we used to spend good 10 to 15 days just to arrive at the chart of accounts. What should be my chart of account structure? What should be my chart of accounts, etc., etc. And still at the end, you would have forgotten maybe a few things here and there. By what we mean by this best practices is now we are giving to you a best practices chart of accounts, which you can adapt it and then start going. You don't have to spend those energies designing that chart of accounts. Just to give you an example. So essentially, from a practice perspective, before I get into that, uh, I just wanted to cover that the solution that we are talking about. This is our homegrown solution that we have rebuilt starting from 2015 onwards. So it's almost 10 years old solution. But what we have done is we have taken all the technological developments, be it artificial intelligence, be it machine learning, be it analytics, be it user interface, etc., etc. And then we have rewritten this application to make it in line with the latest and greatest technological developments. Right, so that's point number one. Point number two is from an industry perspective, we are covering a whole host of industries, right? So we cover service industries. If you're into manufacturing, you are an industrial manufacturing company, you're a steel manufacturer, or maybe you're a CPG company, you're doing distribution through Amazon and Flipkart, or if you're into gas or mills, what have you. The solution is geared to cater to requirements of all these industries. Today, we are going to focus on the left-hand side top corner, which is the services industry, right? So it could be a professional services company. Uh, for example, I'm in KPO, I'm in BPO. I could be a ITITS company, or I could be a professional firm consulting in legal services, or I could be an EPC construction company, what have you. So we are going to focus on those capabilities in today's session. But having said that, we are not restricted to this. We can also cover all these things. What it means for you is tomorrow, maybe today you are a business which is into services, but tomorrow you get into manufacturing, tomorrow you get into CPG or what have you. The same solution will be geared to help you address those requirements also. So that's the message that I want to give through this particular slide. Moving on from getting into the details from a scope perspective, the solution covers the standard expected ERP capabilities, be it finance, procurement, sales, but it's not restricted to those three verticals. We also have extensive service uh, capabilities. We have extensive manufacturing. We have extensive R&D or product lifecycle management capabilities. If you're an asset intensive company, we can also help you do your asset management, your supply chain management. And then there are a whole host of industry specific capabilities which each industry needs, right? So if you're in professional services, we will talk about what we bring to the table in the subsequent slides. You could be in consumer CPG industry or energy. How do we integrate with a third party system, right? So one of the point that came in the poll earlier is uh, how do I make it open architecture and integrate with anything that I have? So the whole architecture is designed around openness. So we are exposing a lot of APIs. You can integrate with any system that you have, right? So you may have an HR system, which is a third-party HR system, a billing system, which is different. what have you, you can just use some of those APIs and start make both the systems talk to each other. Correct. So that's from the scope perspective. And just to give you a glimpse of what the solution looks like, I just wanted to give you a glimpse, right? So this is my optimized user experience, right? So if you can see this totally redesigned UI, which gives you a lot of insights, right? So as soon as I log into the system, it gives you a lot of insight, right? So for example, if I'm a quality engineer, here it is telling me, okay, there are 3 tasks which are pending for me. Here there is some 2 quality levels which are pending, which I need to take certain action upon. So the whole point is we have made it more insight driven. What it means is as soon as I log in, it gives me the KPIs that I should be interested in. So let me just go ahead and address those KPIs. Right. We have also done integration with technologies like Microsoft Teams. We have done integration with Google Workspace, etc., because these we see as something which is pervasive in the industry today, right? So the ERP system can now directly talk to Microsoft Teams. For example, as you can see in the screenshot, in a Microsoft Teams, you can go ahead and see your open sales order. Based on your roles and authorization, the relevant data will be shown to you. Right? So we are merging both these technologies and trying to make the processes more efficient, more seamless for the users to get their work done rather than logging into the system and taking certain actions. And then lastly, AI is getting infused into the ERP, right? So there's a lot of AI scenarios that we are adding into the system. It's simple like reading a PDF and converting into a sales order, or reading a PDF invoice copy that comes from your supplier, digitizing it, and making a draft invoice. There are many such use cases there where we are using the AI uh, and making it available for our users to consume the AI. So this is all in the context of ERP, right? So that's where we differentiate from the AI which is there in the market today from a chat GPT or others. This is very contextual, right? It is developed in relation to the transaction that you're doing. Right? So that's how we differentiate when it comes to AI. Moving on, again, just to make the life easier for the users, what we are doing is we are making it more visual theme, right? Where we're giving a lot of reports over here, right? So as you can see on my screen, there are a whole host of charts, right? Cards which is telling me, okay, these are some of the KPIs that I should be looking at. For example, if I'm a maintenance engineer, here it is telling me, okay, there are so many maintenance plans, so many items are overdue, and so on and so forth, so that I can just click on it, get into the transaction, and start taking certain actions. To make the life easier for the users, again, we're giving you a lot of embedded guidance, support, right? So the chat, the digital assistant that we have within the system can also help you navigate the system. It will help you how to take certain actions, so on and so forth. And then lastly, generative AI, right? So what now we are doing is we are putting this power of AI into the hands of the users. So you don't have to go ahead and write, if you want, say, you want to see all the sales orders for a sold to party, this is. Now you can just type it and then the system will give you this particular report, right? You don't have to go to a screen or develop a query for this. You can just type it in natural English language. It will translate into the system language and then fetch these results for you. So that's what we are doing, just to give you a glimpse of what we are doing with respect to AI as well. Then obviously from a mobile perspective, everyone today wants to see this on mobile, right? So this solutions can be seen on your mobile applications, on your smartwatches, so on and so forth. And then as on the right hand side, if you can see that there is a digital assistant which will also tell you how can I assist you, right? So you can ask questions in natural language and it will guide you to take certain actions. So this is all from an adoption perspective, right? So how can I make the system more easier for my users to go ahead and adopt it, right? So that was on the UI part of it and the technology, what we are doing, right? So just to summarize, we have embedded analytics into it. We have embedded machine learning into it. It is mobile enabled, and it's all intuitive, merged with AI, so as to make it easier for the users to go ahead and do transactions. Moving on to the second bucket, which is you're building your own breakthroughs, right? So while customers want an SaaS ERP, they also have that need, wherever required, I want to go ahead and build my custom applications on top of it, right? So we are giving you these options where you can go ahead and create your custom applications, right? So if you can see on my screen that there are two ways in which customizations can be done, right? So one, we are putting the power in the hands of the end user itself, right? So as an end user, I can go ahead and make certain changes, right? These are all low code, no code tools where I can go ahead and add a field, rename a field, make a field mandatory depending on what I want to do. This is something which low code, no code, without any coding facility, you can do it. And then there is a professional developer who can go ahead and write some complex applications, right? You can go ahead and build some complex algorithms, right? So while this is a SaaS solution, it does not mean that you will not be able to do any changes. You will be able to make changes, but in a slightly different manner, right? So we are now putting the hands in the power of the end users to do limited customizations, and the professional developers to go ahead and do complex programming. The third bucket obviously is now you may ask, okay, I adopt this solution, Gopal, but what happens is tomorrow if I grow, today I am into an EPC business, but tomorrow I get into, say, a SaaS business, right? Let's take an example. Today, I'm just in the business of setting up, say, electrical charging points across the city. But tomorrow I want to get into the service business, right? I want to give the entire model, flip it from an delivery project delivery perspective to rather as a service, right? So I will just use this electricity charging stations and give it as a service. Will the solution be able to help me do this? Yes, the solution is geared. So today you may be just doing EPC, but tomorrow you get into, say, subscription or a service model. The same solution has capabilities which will help you go ahead and adopt this. Having said that, we also help you operate the same solution across different geographies, right? So tomorrow you go into different geographies, like say you get into the UAE market or you get into the Africa market or any other country across the globe, the same solution will help you meet that, right? So it has 55 countries, 59 countries rather, supported out of the box, 32 languages, and a lot of other host of functionalities when it comes to meeting the regulatory requirements. Another thing that we are doing in which is pretty important for all the companies is sustainability. What we are bringing is to the table is an ability to now capture your sustainability footprint transactions at a line level, right? So just like we have a ledger for our accounting our rupee transactions, there is going to be a separate ledger which is called the green ledger, which will help you capture your carbon footprint at each and every transaction levels, right? So if I'm just to give you an example, is say if I'm buying this particular equipment from a particular supplier, what is the carbon footprint? Vis-a-vis if I buy it from another supplier, the carbon footprint can be different. How many people are traveling? How many people are traveling by bus, by shared transport? You can use those kind of metrics to account your CO2 emission, and then do what if analysis as to how I can go ahead and improve my sustainability footprint. And lastly, the fourth bucket is how can I go live with confidence, right? So SAP understands that our customers need to be educated. While we are bringing those best practices, we are giving you this extension capabilities, so on and so forth. How they can go ahead and make the solution, consume the solution, so that they are successful, right? To that extent, we are giving you a whole host of tools, right? So we have something known as the best practices. We talked about we have something known as a digital discovery, which our partners like Persepeer use it to understand what is your business requirements, do it in a subjective manner compared to just and objectively, where we say, we need APA, RGL, etc., etc. We will go scope by scope and say, okay, this is all that is required, so that the same thing gets implemented. You can also monitor what we had said and what is implemented, so on and so forth. And thirdly, we give you some advanced tools like application lifecycle management tools, which will help you do automation with respect to capturing your documentation, right? So all your business needs are getting captured over here. All your automation testing scenarios are captured over here. You can also automate to an extent that whenever you make a certain change in your business configuration, you can run the application lifecycle management tool and do the testing automatically. Correct. So it's doing a whole host of work, taking away from you and taking into our fold. And then lastly, from a community perspective and learning perspective, we publish a whole host of content which is available over here. If you go to just SAP communities, and you can register yourself and see, what all great things that we are doing. There are a whole host of videos available on the learning site, which will give you context of what SAP brings to the table, so that you can directly consume it and then configure it within your system without having to depend on partners or support partners, right? We want to educate you so that you know that there are these features available and then start consuming it. Now, just quickly to end, I have this slide which says from a professional service perspective, what we're going to talk about is we can do a lot of projects, right? So we can do customer projects, we can do professional services project, contract based, etc., etc. What are some of the differentiators that we are bringing to the table? One is the real time revenue recognition. So what it means is, as soon as a transaction is done or a cost is incurred, the system is geared to go ahead and recognize the revenue automatically. You don't have to wait till the month end to identify what is my cost and then run certain reports, do some Excel jugglery, and then put a JV for your revenue recognition. This is in line with the IFRS and the Indian accounting standards. As soon as a cost is incurred, your revenue gets recognized. You can also go ahead and see your project profitability at a real time, right? Because I am knowing my revenue, I am knowing my cost. At any point in time, you'll be able to see what is your profitability, if the trend is okay or if it is going down. How can I use it to go ahead and take a corrective actions? We are giving you capabilities like project billing, right? So you can create draft billing request. You can send it to your customer. When the customer approves it, then you can create an actual invoice. And then things like solution billing, bundling, right? So for example, if I'm a telco operator and I'm doing a service where there is a equipment involved, right? So I need to take this BTS station, I need to take the tower, etc., etc., to the site, and then I need to so there is material, there is service, and a lot of other things, and then obviously there is an AMC that comes once maybe you have done the installation. Right, so it's known as solution management or bundling capabilities that we are bringing into the table. Right, you could be into commercial real estate also. Then we have capabilities which will help you manage your own real estate. Now, just to break down the process, the value chain process, right? It is broken down into 4 buckets. First is the selling and planning, right? So it starts with the quotation, pricing, and then a completion of the whole contract, right? So now we also have our uh, uh, CRM capabilities, which will help you automate your lead to cash, lead to order process within the system itself, right? So you don't need to have a separate system to manage it. The same system will help you do it. Coming to the next bucket, which is setup and staff, right? So here is a place where you get into the project execution. You set up the project, you set up your WBVS, you set up your find all the resources. Maybe those are highly technical resources or some machines or what have you, and then you can assign it to the project and then start your working. And third is the execution, real execution, where you can get into procurement. You can record the time of the people. You can record the expenses, travel and expenses, or any other expenses that you're doing, your project progress, material consumption, what have you. And then basis that you can recognize your revenue, you can manage your web, you can have a real-time your margin visibility. And then lastly is the billing process, right? So once my project execution is done, I can go ahead and initiate the billing. I can manage the entire account receivable process, credit, collection, analytics, so on and so forth, right? So these are the 4 main buckets. So my friends from Persepier will help you deep dive into each of these buckets in the subsequent session. I'll just end with this slide, just which gives you some of the examples of companies who are using this solution, right? So these are some of the professional services company. And just to give you example, right, there are very small companies, right? Companies with as small as 180 employees. Agilita is a company, 180 employees. They went live in 3 months, and you can see the kind of benefits that they are getting. All the stories are published on the SAP website. You can go ahead and have a look at it. There's another company with 550 million, and there are big giants like Nagaro with 17,000 employees, and we have the bigger ones with more than a lakh of employees, right? So it's not that this solution is for big giants, it's for smaller companies with as small as 200 employees. It can go ahead and meet your requirements, right? And it is it is linked to the number of users. Obviously, you can go ahead and consume it in the way you grow, right? So you can start small, and as you grow, you can keep on adding your users so that you can scale. The same solution can be scaled up. All right. So with this, I will take a break and then now hand it back to the Persevere team to take it forward. Right. I'm happy to answer any questions. You can put it in the chat and we will answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopal, for this insightful session. I have actually assigned a question to you. We have a question as well.
All right. Okay.
So the question is, all the AI are hosted where? So I believe you was speaking about AI, and that time we got this question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Meanwhile,
So this
Nidhi
AI is okay. If you
has
want me to
presented
answer
right.
now, or you should me
Yeah.
should I
Please,
answer it?
Gopalji, please answer it right
Okay.
away.
From an
It
AI
will be clear.
perspective, this AI is inbuilt into the ERP system itself, right? So we don't have to uh, go ahead and host it in a separate data center. It is within the context of ERP, right? So we have made the ERP uh, relevant to the scenario, right? So just to give you an example, when I say from a context of sale order, the use case could be is you get sales order from your customers in an email which has a PDF attachment, etc., etc. What the system can do is now it will take that email, it can download the PDF, open the PDF, scrape through the PDF line items, and then intelligently generate a draft sales order for you, right? So that is something that we are doing from a sales order perspective. Another example is all the cash receipts that come in, right? All the bank receipts that come in. How do I apply it to my automatically to my AR invoices? So what the AI engine will do is try to match the AR receipt and the AR invoice with some reference number. If it is able to find it, then it will go ahead and automatically knock it off. So you can set a confidence percentage saying, if it is in 90%, then you go ahead and knock it off. If it is less than 90%, then it will just tell you, okay, this is what I think is the best invoice against which it needs to be applied, so that you as a user can then go ahead and do the manual judgment and take a call on that, right? So like that, there are multiple use cases that are available from a quality perspective, right? So what you can do is you can just take a picture of the final product, and then it can do the assessment and arrive at the defects on that particular piece of equipment that you have manufactured. Correct. So those are different use cases which are bundled within the ERP itself. So it's not hosted separately, it's inside the ERP.
Okay. Thank you, Gopal, for the answer. We are definitely getting few questions. What we'll do is we'll park this question for the end of the
Sure.
session, and we can answer at that time. So I request Nidhi to please share the screen, and we can take the presentation ahead. So yes, we have the second poll for today. So what is the biggest challenge your professional services company faces in digital transformation? So yeah, the polls are live. I request our audience to please revert on the poll. It will help Nidhi and the rest of our speakers to connect with you. Nidhi, I hope you are able to see the poll. So yes, we are getting a couple of responses. We have almost 50% response. I request all the other participants to please reply. So I guess all majority of our participants have responded. Nadi, I hope you are also able to see the response and you can connect accordingly. I guess Nadi, you are on mute. Nadi, you are on mute.
You able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I hope you are able to see the polls. I will be just ending the polls right away. Thank you everyone for your response. And yes, Nidhi, you can initiate it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Devina, and thank you so much, Gopal, for great insights about Grow with SAP and how project management on SAP would work. Now, I'll just quickly give you a brief and a detailed understanding of how the system or the hands-on experience on SAP S/4HANA Cloud ERP would look like. So, firstly, as Gopal rightly mentioned, we follow these four phases into for the end-to-end value chain that we have here for the professional services. So, our process mostly would move from sell to plan, which would focus on lead qualification and contracts, the win rate as the KPI, of course. And then we have a setup and staff where we assign the resources and we manage the utilization and the tracking of the billable hours. And then moving on to the deliver, where we focus on the executing of services and engagement of profitability. And finally, to build and manage, where we handle billing, collections, and track KPIs like WIP and DSO. So we would be covering each of these phases specifically in a detailed manner, and we'll see how the hands-on SAP S4HANA system would look like. Moving ahead for the SAP with the SAP Enterprise portfolio and project management, we manage everything from project demand and resource allocation to financial planning while integrating risk, change, and issue management as well. Through SAP S/4HANA, you gain a single source of truth. You will be having an instant financial insight, access to multiple ERP cost records, efficient procurement and HR integration, and also real-time project analytics, all within a consistent and a single Fiori UX framework. Now we'll move on to the detail level system demonstration for the same. Now, when you log in into your SAP system, this is how your Launchpad screen would look like. So any financial head, any financial controller or your project manager, anybody who would log in would look for the SAP screen would look like this for him to view all in one screen, wherein he'll have multiple tiles as we see here at the top, and below are the few cards which are specific reports which are available on a single click. So he'll be able to analyze and view all different kinds of reports here on the launchpad itself. Of course, these are all personalized and can be customizable as well. Moving ahead, we'll focus on the my projects since this is a project management overview that we'll be carrying out. So we'll focus on the my projects application here. Once one of the financial heads or the project manager would log in into the system and would go to your project overview screen, he'll be able to see these multiple cards and overview screen, basically a dashboard for him to view and check out different analytics reports that he can carry out from here as well. So the financial head, let's say the financial head logs in into the system, and he's able to see on the project overview screen that we see here, he's able to see the upcoming milestones. From here itself, he will be able to analyze and understand the upcoming milestones which have been completed, which are still pending, and based on that he can carry out his specific milestone completions as well. Next, moving on would be an overall status and a detail level status. This would give you an understanding wherein you will be able to analyze what are my high risk statuses available for my specific projects, and then carry out the relevant activities for the same. Moving ahead, we have a cost to date timeline wherein you'll be able to understand the actuals and the planned values, and we'll be able to get a graphical view and a specific detail level view. Next would be the cost to date, wherein on a project level you'll be able to understand your actual and your planned values. Moving ahead, if the project manager would want to understand what are my planned projects, this is the right tile for him to understand what are the planned projects and how he can then make these projects available for the future usage. So this is an overview wherein you will be able to see multiple such integrations happening with different modules and different IT heads or financial controllers or the project managers being seeing everything into just one single screen for them to view. Now, if we see a challenge specifically in most of these project organizations where there are multiple stakeholders, there are controllers, procurement team, resource managers, project managers, and project team all sourcing or inputting their data into multiple different documents and then collating and then finally able to, try to do a single report, which could be a very tedious job for you to carry out. So while you do all of these things, these problems can be solved using this SAP S4 HANA Cloud ERP, wherein you will be able to get it all in one single screen. You would not have to maintain multiple documents. All would be available for you on your Cloud ERP. Next would be to understand the selling and planning that we talk about, the first phase of the four that we mentioned earlier. So first would be to understand the project briefs. Now in the project briefs, this is again the launchpad screen. So one of my project manager maybe say logs in into this SAP system, and he sees that on the card that we see here in the overall status. Here there are projects which are filtered by the specific statuses. We would be focusing on the high risk statuses project. I go inside the screen and it says my project brief is listing down all of my projects which are under high risk. I take example of one such project and I check out what the planning of the project is. On the left hand side, you would be able to see the header of the project. You'd be able to see the work breakdown structures, which is the WBS element, and under which there are multiple activities specifically assigned to each WBS element. Moving on the right side, you'll be able to see the timeline of the project and the specific WBS elements, and as and when they are aligned. Next would be to understand what the project master data would hold. It would be the milestones. So all the milestones that I have on my project master data, which are assigned, would be listed down over here. All of their finish dates, actual finish dates or planned finish date would be listed down. Coming next would be the project cost report. So the project manager or even the financial head, if he wants to actually see the project cost report directly from the master data itself, he has an option to do so. From this, he'll be able to get a quick view of his planned values and his actual values on the project level. Coming to the next point, wherein we'll be able to see the resource assignments as well. What all resources have been assigned to my project. The related objects would cover basically a project collaboration screen, which we would be seeing in the coming slides later on. And of course, you can add in more of your attachments, your specific project reports, etc. Then on the right top corner, if you see, there are multiple related application, but there is a related application button which has multiple multiple reports available for you to navigate to. As a project manager or as a finance head, you will be able to move into all of these reports by just a single click from the same screen again. So it's quite easy and user friendly for all of these members to analyze and check out different reports from one single screen itself. Next would be our selling. So now we'll be creating a sales order in the system. So the sales manager logs into the system. He says, I want to create a sales order, and he goes on to this application and creates a sales order. He punches in the basic data over here, and then he'll fill out all of the services that you would need on the specific item level, along with a WBS element that you see here on the right side on the line item level, which would be your project assignment that you would be adding into your sales order. So this is how you create a project and then a sales order specifically, which would be linked to the project. Next would be our project demands. So in the project demands, here we'll be covering basically, this is the second phase that we talk about, the setup and staff that we talked about earlier. In the project demands, what all project demands could be covered over here. So in specifically for my IT based companies, I would need a resource, right, and also a service which could be like an outsourced resource, right? So these two are mainly applicable for IT based companies, and for my EPC based companies, it could also be used for the materials and for services. So both of these demands can be managed accordingly. So we'll take one such example here wherein we create a resource here, all the basic level details of what my WBS element would be, and specifically what my resource assignment would give in. So this is an internal resource assignment. So I'll just give in a user ID here and the specific staff effort. I click onto the create button and the resource gets created. Similarly, for materials, so let's say this is an EPC based company and it needs a material. So from here itself, you'll be able to create a purchase requisition for the same. So a demand for a material would be created by filling in all these basic details, and of course the specific demand amounts, and then the material purchase requisition would be created. On the right, if you see this hyperlink is nothing but just a purchase requisition button where you will be able to click and see the purchase requisitions. Next would be the procurement. Here again, the similar way, if you have, as we saw earlier, we have the purchase requisitions that we can create from here. Similarly, for services also, we'll create a purchase requisition, and in this purchase requisition, what we do is we'll process these purchase requisitions. So by just clicking on the hyperlink that I showed earlier, click on the hyperlink and it'll allow you to move ahead with the processing of the purchase requisitions. So we can come here to the screen wherein the processing of the purchase requisitions can be carried out. Here, what we do is, if you see, there are two specific purchase requisitions created. One is for the services and one is for the materials. Now, in the materials line items, we see that there are 6 sources available for one single for under the assigned suppliers. So what the person would do is, the processor would click on the 6 sources and would select the most relevant supplier based on the specific trends that he have, and then specifically add in the specific supplier here. And then similarly, after that is complete, once the assigned supplier is assigned, we'll click on the requisitions and then create a purchase order specifically. Under the project procurement, you will be able to view all your different purchase orders, list all of your different purchase orders that have been created for your specific project, and they will be listed down here. Next is the project monitoring. So here in the project monitoring, let's say you want to monitor your project progress, or you want to understand what are your cost and specifications. You would log in into your system and you would understand, you would go to your monitor project application, and you would go to your project progress, and you would be able to understand what is my project progress as of now. So it will be laid out similar to a planning screen, wherein you'll be able to understand all of your different milestones, whether they have been finished yet or they have not been finished yet. It's spread across the entire timeline of the project. Next comes the predict cost. Now, this predict cost is an AI ML functionality that SAP S/4HANA Cloud ERP would provide you. This basically would follow based on specific trends that, similar projects that have been created in this system. Based on those trends, the predictive analysis is carried out by SAP, and based on that, the predicted cost has been defined over here. And if you click on the detail level here, you'll be able to understand the predicted cost, the planned cost, and the assigned value specifically. So all of these details would be understood well enough by this predicted cost functionality here. Moving ahead, when we're actually seeing the project plan, whether it's a financial head who is logged into the system or it's a project manager, he'll be able to see this planning screen, and he'll be able to understand what are my demands, what are my purchase orders, what are my sales orders, and just by a single click, he'll be able to redirect or navigate to that specific document. So if I click on the purchase order, I go inside. This is how my purchase order in SAP S/4HANA looks like. In this, we will be able to understand different details of the purchase order. I go into the line item and I see a specific process flow. Now, why is this so important here is, whenever there are multiple industries in which we have seen that the problem statement here would be that all of the different departments are doing their own part, whereas they are not able to they are not able to relate to each other in a way that they are processing their specific documents differently, and there is no specific linkage to each other. Now in SAP S/4HANA, we are able to see an end-to-end process flow right from the purchase requisition to the purchase order, making into a goods receipt, and then finally into the supplier invoice. An end-to-end process flow is available for you to view. So this will help you carry out different specific activities, and where the activities have been stuck out, based on that you will be able to carry out the specific understandings of what my delays are. So this is a very, very important functionality of what SAP offers, and it's laid down to different documents. We'd see some in the coming slides as well. Yeah.
So yes, we have the third poll for today, and that's one of the important thing, the timesheet accuracy or compliance. So just posting our third poll for today. And the poll is live. So I request everyone to please answer the poll. It would be great to know, like, are you also facing the timesheet compliance challenges? So I would also like to share we are also using SAP as a system, and with the help of this module we have like sort of completed, like we have sort of got a hold on the timesheet accuracy as well. So yes, we can see almost more than 50% of the people have responded. We'll wait for a couple of seconds more. So yes, I'll just end the poll. So Nadi, yes, I guess you have also got all your answers, and you can connect well.
Yeah.
Great. So we can move ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for the poll answers. Okay. Moving ahead, we have the third phase wherein it's the deliver and recognize phase, wherein first we'll be booking the timesheets. So as we made a specific project and we have assigned a specific resource to it, the resource would be assigned to a specific task under the project, and when that resource specifically would log in into the system, he would see a task assigned to his ID. And from here itself, from the Manage My Timesheets application, he'll be able to simply drag drop the specific task and add in the hours as many required, and the way he has worked on this project task, right? And then he'll be able to do so quite easily. Once he clicks on save and submit, now there are options also available for approval. So let's say he has an approval, there is an approval in line that there is a project manager who would approve all of his timesheet entries. So once he clicks on save and submit, these will be triggered for an approval. And then finally, once the project manager is approving all of these timesheet entries, a specific cost would be booked on your project cost report. So we'll see that now in the next screen. Here you see this is a project cost report available. In this, you will be able to see the correct WBS element here, specific activity, which I've just highlighted to understand. This is the cost that has been booked. And if I click on the view details, I'm able to see a further drill down or a better understandable way of in two formats, which is one of which is the graphical view, and the second is the line item detail report, wherein if I click on the hyperlink as shown, it will take me to this journal entry which was automatically triggered. So here there is no manual intervention, or there is absolutely no need for you to pass a separate JV specifically punch in, and then that would be recorded in the system. SAP does it all for you. You would not have to specifically add in a separate JV entry, and then that would be posted. SAP would automatically trigger a JV entry once you book your timesheet, and once it's approved by the manager, it will automatically make a journal entry flow into the system along with its related documents as well. So for you to go and check out the related documents for this journal entry, it's quite easy for you to do so. Moving ahead, we would be now recording the material and the service receipts. So now our purchase orders are ready in the system. Now we would be booking specific materials and service receipts in the system. Now we would go to the post goods receipt application and post a specific goods receipt, and similarly for the service entry sheets as well. Now this is again a project cost report with line item details, wherein you see the highlighted value. You'll be able to see the material cost for which we booked the GR, and the labor cost for which we booked the service entry sheet. And this will also will help you understand if you can help you understand where you can go into the specific line item and would want to go into the journal entries as well. Next comes the revenue and the cost recognition. So this is a really, really important activity wherein you do your revenue recognition during revenue recognition. And here in this application, a project manager or a finance head or a finance controller, anybody could just simply log into the system, go to this application, and he will be able to understand his specific billed revenue, what are his actual costs, what are his recognized revenue, recognized costs as well. Now we'll focus on what are the different revenue recognition methods here. So in SAP, there are multiple revenue recognition methods as we see here. In this, we have first one, project completed contract method. This is based on the completion of contract based on which the revenue recognition would be carried out. Next would come the project cost based POC. This is what we've used in this example. So this is mostly used in most of the industries. That's why we have used this one. Next is the project revenue based. So on cost based, it will be based on cost. On revenue based, it will be based on the revenue. And the fourth one and the last one is the project, whereas there is no revenue recognition available. So this is based on the different organizational needs and requirements. You can select a specific revenue recognition method that is applicable to your project. Coming to the next, wherein you will be able to understand from this application, this screen itself, you will be able to understand this chart view, wherein it gives you a periodic wise billed revenue, your actual cost, your recognized revenue, your recognized cost, and of course giving you an entire view of your recognized margin as well. Of course, you can have a detail level transactional line item report as well for this. Moving ahead, we can also revalue. So here you see what are your specific revenue recognition values. Here what it will carry out for you is, if you click on the simulate button, it will give you these simulation results, based on which you can actually post your simulations, or you can understand what all these simulations would mean for your actual revenue recognitions to be carried out. Then if there are any temporary adjustments that you would need, or maybe manual adjustments that you would want to add in your manual cost or your manual recognized revenue, you can add in those values at the top, and a simulation would be carried out similarly, which then you can definitely post. And the third one would be, if there are any manual accruals that you would want to record over here, you can punch in those manually, and then these would be posted here as well. Finally, moving on to the project profitability. From this screen itself, you'll be able to navigate to the project profitability report as well. So project profitability report would look somehow like this, wherein you have your project on the left side, its specific material level details available, product level details available over here, and based on which you will have your product level billed revenue, actual cost, your recognized revenue, your recognized cost, and its margin, along with more parameters as you scroll along, and which will at the end give you a margin in your percentage. So this is how your project profitability report in SAP would look like. These measures, or all of these drill downs can obviously be personalized and customized as per the need. Yeah, Devina.
Thanks, Nidhi. So, just before moving into project profitability, we just thought to understand how you are doing it. And here is our poll. And we have started receiving few of the answers. So, yes, I request everyone to please answer the poll. So, yeah, I hope, Nidhi, you have also got your answers. And I will just end the poll in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, yes, Nidhi, we can start ahead.
Right. Thank you so much, Devina. Okay. So next would be our sales order billing. So we would want, now since we have created a sales order, we want to build the documents. So let's say the milestones have been completed and we want to do a billing document for the same. You come here, you select your request ID, you specifically go into your create billing document application. All of the data seamlessly flows from the sales order to your billing documents. You do not have to enter any you do not have to enter anything on this. Click on the post billing document, and this will simply post your billing documents. Again, here, as I mentioned, for the P2P, we were doing we showed you a specific end-to-end process flow. Here as well, we'll be able to see an O2C process, where from the order till the invoicing, we'll be able to have an entire end-to-end process flow which is available for you to view. Then we also have a preview of the invoice that gets generated, highly customizable based on the organizational needs. This is just one preview that we have. So all the details are available over here. Next is the planned cost versus actual. Now this is your this is your project cost report, wherein you will have multiple plan categories available based on which you can carry out your planning specifically for the cost. Then we have commitments or actual cost all laid down here in this one single report, and then your variances will be calculated based on all different planning categories that you would want to add in. So these are the different planning categories that are available from available in S4 HANA, and you can select the relevant one. Then moving ahead to the line item report of the project cost report, here we'll see as we've seen the graphical view and the line item view, we'll be able to see the graphical view in this manner, wherein period wise you'll be able to understand your actuals and your plans and planned values and your actual values. You can also customize basically your dimensions and measures can be as per your requirements. Moving on to the line items report, wherein you will be able to have a line item detail level view, and you can of course add in more filters for your requirements as well. Finally, we have the project P&L report. Into the project P&L report, we have cost and revenue by WBS, wherein all of your costs and revenues based on your different WBS elements for a single project have been laid down period wise in this project report. So this is one such example. Then another one would be only profit, which is where you will be able to see your net profit, wherein all of your different WBS elements period wise would be listed down with your net profits here. Next would be the project collaboration. Now, this is for your EPC based companies. I would obviously cover the resource management in the coming slides for the IT based companies as well. For the project collaboration, here this is a screen wherein it takes you to a project collaboration screen where you'll be able to understand what are your project plans for this. Once you create a project in S4 HANA, a specific project collaboration screen, the one that we saw in the master data, under the related objects, we'll be able to simply click on that link and this project collaboration screen would come up for you. This project plan would help you understand your project plan. What are your different documents that have been attached? What are the total issues and what are the open issues? Now we'll focus on creating one of these issues. There are multiple such issues created. Creating an issue is quite easy and handy for you to do. You add in your basic details of the issue and the issue gets created just like that. If you want to add in your specific risk or your impact that you would want to record on your issue as to what is your financial loss or the time of occurrence for this issue, that can also be done. That the graph that you see here you will be able to understand most likely where my issue would stand, and based on that you can carry out your relevant actions on the same. You can also set your issues in process or in different statuses so that you don't so that you can analyze where this issue stands as of now. Then you can also see different tasks. So since you've created an issue, we'll be able to see that if you log in into the system and if this task is assigned to my ID, this would be flown down here, and then I can simply check in what is the specific status on the same. I can check in the percentage of completion and manually punch in the same. Here we can also see the documents that have been added in all different formats, all applicable over here. Then finally, this is a really great and a best feature that we have for the project collaboration, wherein you'll be able to we will be able to view your digital twin, basically your digital model that you have created for your actual project that would look like. And this is how the AutoCAD screen would look like, wherein you have your digital twin available here. You can also have multiple cross-sectional views available. If you want any details of this digital twin, they are also available. On the left hand side, you'll be able to see that floor wise we have segregated. So the floor highlighted here, you will be able to see the specific detail level understanding also, and specific issues and tasks that are available for this floor. So this covers your entire project collaboration for EPC based companies. Yeah, Devina.
So let's run once again a poll for you. And here is on the resource management. So yes, as a professional service company, we understand how to manage the resource and how tedious it is to manage the resource when we have numerous projects in hand. So let's see what are the challenges you face in your organization. Yes, we can see there are responses, and majority of them are responding on over or underutilization of resources. So yeah, we'll wait for a couple of seconds. People are responding over our poll. So yeah, I'll just end this poll quickly and I request Nidhi to also continue. Yeah, Nidhi, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Devina. Okay, so yeah, so the next topic for us would be to understand the resource management for service-based or IT-based companies here. So when I move in this, so this is one such project that we have created. We have lined down multiple phases here, which are discover, prepare, explore, run, realize, and deploy. I'll go into the second one quickly, and let's understand what are the staffing instructions for for this. So we see that there's a specific staffing instruction laid down over here, and also assigned skills are agile. So what I do is, as a project manager, I would want to make a request out of this, a resource request out of it. So what I do is I'd go inside the specific project, and then what I would create and publish this resource request. Once this is created and published, my resource manager would log into the system, or my HR manager would log in into the system and would go into your staff resource requests. Here he or she would be able to see the request that was created by the project manager, and then similarly he or she would be able to analyze what are the different skills that match, or what is the utilization of my specific resources. Now these matching resources have been carried out by SAP automatically based on the availability and the skills match here. So if let's say we do a descending filter here, we found that there are two such resources which are 100% match on the skills. However, the utilization is zero. And we found another one in the second last line item that you see, that Abita Bowles, she is 19.14% utilized. So what we do is we'll compare these three resources, and then from there we'll be able to understand a specific skills match and an availability match comparison, and based on that the assignment can happen. So let's say we want to assign it to Miss Abita Bowles. We do a specific assignment of 33 hours out of the 50 hours that was required for this, and then we come here and assign the same. The 33 hours, as you see on the second line items, have been filled out. So based on this, you will be able to carry out your resource assignments on different phases of your project, and then you can obviously stuff it completely by filtering out relevant data again. So here in this, we have fully staffed the specific request ID, and it says that there are 50 hours. So we have assigned two resources here. Again, you can resolve your resource requests as and when you fully staff it, or when you solve these. So this was all about the resource management bit. Next comes the SAP Analytics Cloud. Quite important for you to understand what an SAC is. So SAC is basically nothing, just an analytical arm of SAP. So apart from the analytics that SAP S4 HANA Cloud ERP carries out for you, if there are any more further analytical requirements for different organizations than SAC, then SAC can be the right fit for you. So that it has three main modules, which is your planning, your analytics, and carrying out your predictive analysis specifically. It will be based on the real-time data from SAP or any other system that can seamlessly flow, and then analytical tools can be built on this platform easily for you to carry out or extract different reports for analysis. So I'll quickly move on to the yeah, I'll quickly move on to the monthly financial review report, wherein if you see here, there are two elements to it: revenue planning and a cost planning, along with which will give you your MFR report. So these will be specifically, carried out, and then an MFR report finally would be generated from SAC itself. So if we focus on the revenue planning, you're able to see that there are four such stages here, wherein first the preparation. So if you have any projects that are any projects that are upcoming, so you can upload all of your open opportunities. You can extract your data from SAP or any other system, as I said, and then specify specifically make a budget plan, forecast planning, and then finally you will be able to make a revenue planning report based on the group level, which are of which consists of multiple all different companies, or it could be also for one or each sector that you would want this revenue planning for. Next would come the cost planning. Now in the cost planning you would have all such different costs being planned, which with your in your first phase, that is your month end preparation, wherein you'll upload your payroll data, your timesheet data, your specific resource allocation, what are your cogs or your employee wise expenses. All of these would go into SAC specifically and would create a budget planning wherein your actuals would be pushed to your budget, and then there'll be a forecast planning available for all of this data here as well. So with all of these revenue planning and cost planning done in SAC, here we'll be able to finally derive a final report called as this MFR report, wherein you will be able to see your revenue on the left hand side. If you see, if you have your revenue, and then you have your contribution margin here, based on which you have different costs aligned, which will give you your total cogs. Then again a gross margin would be derived, based on which there are other specific costs as well, and your total SGA cost gets derived. And then at the end, it will give you your final EBITDA and a percentage of the same. So this is how your SCFC would help you to give you a specific monthly financial report or MFR reports. So yeah, that is what uh,
Yeah, Nidhi, just to
that's
add,
all from
if you
my
can,
side. Yes,
Nidhi, if I'm audible,
yes,
if you can just be on the same slide.
yes,
So basically, yeah, what we want to derive here is SSE is where you'll be able to also carry out the planning, and you would be able to also see your plan versus actual at the end of the month or at end of the quarter or end of the year. This particular data would also be useful for you to plan for the next year as a forecast. So this is more of the planning capability of SSE apart from the analytics or the analytical capability. We would be able to use the planning capability. There is one more leg to the SSE, which is more of the prediction layer, which would be probably a predictive analysis, which would help us in other areas of knowing what are the customer trends or what are the planned revenues, etc. More for the cash flow purpose. So that is more of the predictive nature of SSE that we can utilize, which actually completes the end-to-end journey of the ERP, which is more of execution, planning, and then the analysis. So all that is completed with the cycle that Nidhi has explained. Yeah, so I think that's what I just wanted to bring in. There is one more question, Nidhi, which probably we would take here is how SAP S4 HANA Cloud version helps us in P2P or O2C cycle than the other versions or other legacy systems. So if you see, it is more smoothly integrated. The other versions or probably the other products are not that smoothly integrated with your project management. Now the navigation is as easy. The reports or even the transactions can be easily navigated to. It is more user friendly than it is more ERP or a product specific or a tool specific. It has become more user friendly. It is user intuitive with the Fiori screens coming into play. It also allows us multiple such functionalities of even in the O2C cycle. If I take the specific example, there are SaaS models probably, or the subscription models which we want to talk about. There are solution on subscription models where we'll be able to take care of subscription billing as a standard functionality in S4 Cloud ERP, which is called as BRM. And there are other functionalities on P2P side where the OCR of AI that has come into play, and which allows us to also automatically scan the invoices or the invoice documents and create those documents in the system. So, for example, if you imagine a employee traveling for a particular office visit or a project site visit, and he does some expenses which he just scans via a mobile, and that gets recorded in the system as one of the expenses for him, which is once it is approved, it will get posted onto the project for which he is traveling to. So that kind of AI capability on the P2P side also has been increased. So more from the feature point of view, it carries all the necessary best practice features from P2P and O2C, which is linked to the projects now, as well as from the user intuitiveness. It has bring in a lot of user intuitive screens. And third is the AI capabilities, which is an add-on on all of these two elements. So that's where it is different than the earlier versions or the other products. Yeah, I think those were the questions. So thanks, Nidhi. I think it was a very detailed and elaborative demo. So thanks for that. What I would like to cover is if you can just go ahead with the slide. So what in summary? So what we have done so far? In summary, if you see, we have seen the entire project life cycle management, right? From the planning to the quotation to the setting up and staffing up and the execution of it and the billing and then the entire project repository in a single source of truth, which is the single ERP system. Uh, for project managers, for project controllers, it is necessary to have a single window, right? Which is more of a single entry concept, which is again a differentiator from the other versions of the product, where they had multiple areas where they would like to enter. They had to enter in the multiple areas, but now it's a single entry or a single source of truth or a single window, I would call it. Now that also allows us to have a smooth integration with financial accounting and human resource management, and which finally boils down to uh, the insights into the project progress, which is available on the mobile as insights as well to the stakeholders, and the cost performance as well as the timeline performance. That is also one of the important aspect of project management. So these are the key takeaways from the entire webinar that we are conducting. Now, what next is the question. So, as I think Gopal has spoke about. So, if we can go to the next slide, Nidhi. So, Gopal also has spoke about the digital discovery assessment. So, one of the poll question which we had where we said problems with the implementation, right? So, what are the basic problems? So, most of the problems were more on the implementation timelines, how to manage the project, so manage the scope and the change management, and the project cost at the end. So to derive or to achieve these goals, there is a discovery session that we do that Persepier carries out, which also takes into consideration SAP's tool of digital discovery assessment, which allows us to actually understand your organizational needs and the requirements at these 5 parameters. So one is the strategy. So what is the strategy that we are looking at to have the transformation journey, whether it is going to be phase wise or it is going to be a big bang. And basis the strategy that we have aligned, what are the scopes from the business processes point of view? Since SAP have now best practices activated, which anyway reduces the timeline of the timeline of the implementations. However, basis the phases that we have identified, we can actually map our business processes to the SAP best practices scope, which then allows us to track it later from the project management point of view and also from the change management point of view. It also takes care of the geographies that we are trying to get into. So what are the countries that we are getting aligned? So more of the statutory angle compliance is also taken care with this digital discovery assessment. The system architecture, which is more of the infra architecture that we will IT landscape, that is also taken care in this. So we understand what is the scope of integrations, which is the fifth element, which will bring in a third-party information into SAP ERP as well. And what are the needs to integrate is something which is identified as a document and formulated in a document format, which is more of digital discovery assessment. Now, as Persepier, if you can go to next slide, Nidhi. As Persepier, we offer free digital discovery assessment. So we onboard on the customer requirements. We understand their needs, their current landscape, and we offer this assessment document freely. Now, when you want to start the next journey, which is your transformation journey, we can go to next slide, Nidhi. If you are a stakeholder, CXO, IT heads, we have some of the packages. And before we go to the packages, I think this is more important, where you can actually earn the value, or you can actually see the value yourself. So we have something called as a product tour, which is available on sap.com. You can log into sap.com and have a product S4HANA Cloud ERP product tool. You also have a trial system which is available, which you can actually try it your own on your own laptops. If you need a expert demonstration, yes, we are just a mail away. So please inform us. We will be able to give you an expert-led demonstration. Any follow-up discussion, we will be able to take care of with your industry-specific requirements or specific organization needs. To reduce down again the implementation timeline and the implementation cost, what we offer is our Persepier ProServe package. So if you can go to the next slide, Nidhi, which is more of uh, SAP's BTP capabilities. Again, I will explain one by one. So S4HANA is the core cloud ERP. SAC we have already talked about, which is more of the analytical layer, and the last layer is SAP BTP, where we are able to integrate with the multiple third-party tools. With industry expertise of Persepier, we offer these as ProServe as our package offering. Just to name some of our clientele, Nidhi, if you can go to the next slide. So yeah, these are some of our clienteles where we have already implemented SAP S4HANA with our ProServe package. So that's it for now. I think, Devina, if you have any questions open or the floor is open for any question and answers, we are happy to help.
So yes, Saurabh, since you have introduced our free digital discovery assessment, we have a poll for it. So here is a
Sure.
poll live for everyone. I request everyone to quickly answer, and this is the last poll for today. So great, we can see few of them are answering that they want to do the free digital discovery assessment. So yes, we have also dropped our contact details in the chat box. So you can connect with us on our email ID as well as the phone number. And our team will be happy to respond to you as well. So yes, Saurabh, I am just ending this poll.
Sure.
I hope you are able to see it.
Yeah.
Great.
So I can see people are interested in the digital discovery.
Yeah. So yes, we do have a couple of questions lined up for you, Saurabh.
Sure.
So here is our first question. So given the RIT segment requirement, so I believe it is from
Mhm.
IT service industry, they have the diverse offering including projects contract based, usage based, and SaaS based model. So
Mhm.
how SAP provides financial status view?
SAP provides, sorry.
Financial status view. So they want to know how SAP is providing the details of the project into the financial or project part.
Yeah, so as we have talked about, I think it covers multiple set of elements, right? One is your project module itself, which Nidhi has talked about, which covers your integration with procurement, integration with sales, uh, your day-to-day activities, execution of timesheets, your material procurements, and all of that. Apart from that, there is also, as I talked about, the billing management, which is more of the subscription based model, which is more of a trend that is that's a future that we are seeing. More of the services are getting subscription based. So there is a BRM module which takes care of the subscription based billing as well. And there is also a contract management, which is a full blown module where we'll be able to see or we'll be able to manage the entire contract life cycle as a whole. So that's how it actually has a end-to-end portfolio of managing the entire organization needs rather than one or rather than having multiple silo systems. It is one integrated native system with SAP ERP.
Okay, I'm sure the attendee has got his answer. So
Yeah,
we have another
I
question. How is making sales order or purchase order different in the new S4 HANA version?
Yeah, so I just took that question while answering the SAC part.
Right, right.
Again, it is more of the three aspects. One is the feature capability. So all the necessary features which are best practice for professional service which have been added. I think we have short of time. Is that
Yes, we are actually short of time. So what we'll do, we have your questions parked, team. We'll reach out to you over a mail by answering your questions, or Saurabh Karkar or Pranay Mathur will personally reach out to you over a call and discuss with you all the details. I hope that works with everyone. And thank you everyone for being the wonderful audience, for raising the questions, for answering the poll. I hope your doubts on professional services and SAP S4 HANA are cleared. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. I'll end the session now.
thanks everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you everyone.